this is Daily Exchange from Singapore, and we are here with Nishant Sharma, Head of Community and International Relations with Bitmain, and we're going to be asking some more interesting questions about the space. First of all, do you think Bitmain has an obligation to help maintain decentralization of Bitcoin hash rate?
I believe that everybody in this in the cryptocurrency ecosystem has that responsibility to ensure the success, long-term success of the cryptocurrency, and also ensure they don't do anything to jeopardize the decentralization. And Bitmain is no exception. And Bitmain has been taking this very seriously. For example, about some time ago, Bitmain already was owning the leading Bitcoin mining pool at the time, but still it started another Bitcoin mining pool called BTC.com, which was an open source, fully open source Bitcoin mining pool, and another one called Connect, the BTC, which was also which was not an open source, but a separate team based in another location. The servers are based elsewhere, and physically, geographically, it was based in a different location. So one is in China, one is in Singapore, one is in Israel, to bring this decentralization into the mining space. Because Bitmain was owning one pool, which owned most of the hash rate. Now Bitmain invests or starts new pools, one of them being totally open source, based elsewhere with totally different teams. And this was part of Bitmain's trying to make this more decentralized. And also Bitmain has been taking some steps to increase dialogues with the communities that it serves, to make sure that it does not jeopardize any plans that the community has.
Nice. Do you think the economics of proof-of-work mining will inevitably lead to decentralization, as the largest mining manufacturers can monopolize supply chains and the other steps of the process?
First, I do not think that the decentralization the centralization that you refer to is caused by miner makers is considerable compared to other aspects of development of different proof-of-work based cryptocurrencies, which influence or affect the centralization even way more. I think those are more concerning parts of this. And talking about centralization from manufacturers, I believe there are quite a few manufacturers already, besides Bitmain, competing to get the best chip out there as soon as possible. And that is healthy. And as the cryptocurrency market outlook increases and becomes more positive, we will see more players entering the system, the space.
Yeah. Do you think proof of work is here to stay on the whole, or is it a stepping stone of sorts? Or
that's a very talked about question these days, with proof of stake being a very hot thing. I do believe that proof of work will always have a role. And as much as I believe in the time-tested security model of proof of work, I do believe that we should be open to experimenting with new technologies that are out there. For example, proof of stake, or for example, there are coins out there that are working on a hybrid version with combining proof of stake and proof of work, and that kind of experimentation is healthy, for sure.
Yeah, I guess there's a constant search for a better model.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand Bitmain is also looking at other areas as well, which your, I guess, talents could be leveraged in, such as AI, data centers, for example.
Well, Bitmain's vision is to produce the most power-efficient computing chips to realize a new digital world. And to that end, it has been producing chips for not only blockchain applications, but also AI applications. And to increase the usage and usability of these chips, it also produces applications that on top of these chips. For example, we have cloud computing solutions based on these chips, not only for blockchain, but also for AI. And yeah, we will not stop our focus on this. And we are already the leader in blockchain chips, but but we are trying hard on the AI side of things, where we've already released 4 generations of AI chips since 2016. That was when we started making chips for AI or deep learning. So yeah, we've been there since a long time, and we are continuously producing better and more power efficient AI chips, or to be more exact, chips for deep learning applications.
Yeah. So hash rate is very deeply involved in the whole governance process of Bitcoin and many other cryptocurrencies. Bitmain obviously as a major player in the Bitcoin mining scene. How do you balance the commercial interests Bitmain has as a company with the governance needs of the wider Bitcoin community?
So like I mentioned before, Bitmain is continuously aware of its role and responsibilities in the cryptocurrency communities that it operates in. And for this, we also, a few years ago, started more community outreach and taking feedback from the community, as a result of which we also last year formulated a policy for transparency, greater transparency, and that was one of the steps we took, which was formulating this policy. This included feedback from various cryptocurrencies, and part of this transparency policy, we are disclosing our entire hash rate, the hash rate that we own, that we control. We update it every 30 days. You can go on blog.bitmain.com and see it. And we are also have a policy for not secret mining. Secret mining is a practice by which a manufacturer can release next generation chips only for itself and not release it to the market and mine with it in secret, getting an unfair advantage in theory. And we have a zero tolerance policy for such activities. And we also committed to the public that every time we release a new ASIC for a cryptocurrency that doesn't have ASICs, or we release a new generation of ASICs which are more efficient than any other ASIC out there, we will always transparently ship the first batches of these ASICs. So not only our buyers, but those cryptocurrency communities can plan accordingly for this increase in hash rate or more efficient hash rate.
Does that mean if a less honest mining manufacturer didn't have these policies and did produce a really high-powered next-gen ASIC miner, would that be a potential threat to Bitcoin or
I
the model?
I think gaining advantage or being more competitive in mining is a threat to an ecosystem. And I do not think any manufacturer, or at least the manufacturers I know of, I do not think they're doing these kind of activities right now. However, it is always a responsibility of the miner maker or a miner to act more responsibly. Also, it's in their economic interest to think of the long-term effects on the particular cryptocurrency ecosystem that they are operating in, and make sure that they don't do anything to jeopardize their long-term plans.
Yeah, that makes sense. So do you think that it's possible for an entity such as Bitmain to remain hands-off in the governance of Bitcoin every time there is a contentious fork issue, for example, or any other governance issues that may arise in Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies? How do you balance your need to be an active part of the community with your need to also not, I guess, impose will on the community?
That's a very good question. And for this, we can go back to the great scaling debate, where Bitmain had a stance for Bitcoin being a medium of exchange, more importantly than a medium store of value. And there was a part of the community that believed that Bitcoin should be a store of value over a medium of exchange. Bitmain took a strong stance, expressed its beliefs, even supported the side that wanted Bitcoin to be a peer-to-peer cash, more importantly than just a store of value. Bitmain did everything it could, but Bitmain did not misuse its position of power that was given by the Bitcoin community, the bigger Bitcoin community, combining both sides to it. And Bitmain always sold its miner, for example, on a first-come, first-served basis, without ever distinguishing or discriminating among the buyers based on their political beliefs. So this was something Bitmain could do, but it never did. That is one example by which Bitmain maintains the balance between the two.
Yeah, I guess being fair and doing right by the community isn't always like super efficient, but it can't really sacrifice that, I guess, as a community member.
Sure, and also doing your best to take a cryptocurrency community in the path that you believe is the best for it in the long term is is the responsibility that every person in a truly decentralized cryptocurrency, open source cryptocurrency has.
Yeah. So, what are some of the steps you do take? I think you did mention this briefly, to just demonstrate this transparency and build trust in the community, and to just be an active member of the ecosystem.
So a few years ago, we started more community outreach, engaging with the various cryptocurrency communities, which is also the major part of my job at Bitmain. And as part of that, when we released the first ASICs for mining Zcash, we did it in a very transparent fashion, which was an experiment in radical transparency at that time. We tweeted, as soon as a batch of miners were ready to ship, we tweeted the name, the number, order number, or the quantity. We just didn't tweet the information that a customer may not like because it invades his or her privacy. Outside that, we tweeted the information that they need, what time something is shipping, and how many units are shipping, so they can plan accordingly. Not only the buyers, but also the Zcash community. They can plan for a big surge in hash rate well beforehand. So that was one step we took after feedback from the Zcash community. Thanks to the Zcash community for giving us that valuable feedback and being very proactive in giving us that feedback. And then we later collected more feedback from different cryptocurrency communities and formulated what I described before as the transparency policy, which includes our disclosure of our hash rate, which includes a no tolerance policy for secret mining, which includes our commitment to not mine empty blocks, and if empty blocks were to be mined without because of some technical thing that we cannot control, we will seek the reason for it and disclose the reason. And if we release a new ASIC like we did with Z9, we will, just like we did with Z9, announce and ship them transparently. So these are just some of the steps we've taken to increase more transparency, and I hope more miner makers can take this forward and do not only what we've done, but also do other things that we can learn from. So the industry-wide standard of transparency just increases.
I guess it's a lot of work balancing multiple communities, different coin communities, their own miner community, and a lot of that. Which I guess it's also a problem that other businesses typically don't have to face. So I guess you're navigating entirely a new road, really.
Sure. So open source cryptocurrencies, they are very similar to multi-party democratic states.
Yeah.
And they are even more democratized because everything is so transparent and so fast, and it's on the internet. Everyone can see what's happening, what's being discussed, what decisions are being made, what change in code is being made. And there are tools to mark these very easily compared to a state or a mainstream politics. And with this kind of democracy also comes a lot of people with different views, and it becomes very similar to mainstream politics in that way.
Yeah, well, exciting times.
Yeah, sure.
And thanks very much for joining us, Nishant.
Thank you for having me, Andrew.